Ever wondered how one family could rule a city, fund the Renaissance, and produce 4 popes, all while dodging assassins? This isn't a movie plot. It's the real-life story of the Medici family of Florence. For over 300 years, they were the ultimate power players, and their playbook was a masterclass in influence, ambition, and survival. Forget what you think you know about history. We're about to uncover the secrets behind the Medici dynasty, a story of art, banking, and cold-blooded ambition. It all starts not with a crown, but with a bank. In the late 14th century, Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici founded the Medici Bank. Now, this wasn't just any bank. Giovanni was a genius. He created a network of branches across Europe, from London to Rome. He became the Pope's personal banker, which was like winning the financial lottery of the Middle Ages. This immense wealth was the foundation, the bedrock upon which the entire Medici dynasty was built. But Giovanni was smart. He kept a low profile. He knew that in a city like Florence, full of old noble families, flaunting wealth could get you exiled. Or worse, he played the long game, quietly accumulating power and passing his strategy to his son Cosimo. And Cosimo de' Medici was where things really got interesting. Cosimo inherited his father's bank and his sharp mind, but he had a vision that went far beyond balance sheets. He understood that money was power, but public perception was everything. He began a project that would change the world forever: patronage of the arts. He wasn't just buying pretty pictures. He was investing in culture as a political tool. He sponsored artists who were pushing boundaries, like Donatello the sculptor and Brunelleschi, the architect who built Florence's magnificent Duomo. Think about it. Every time a citizen looked up at that incredible dome, they were looking at a symbol of Medici power. When they saw Donatello's revolutionary statue of David, they were witnessing a new era of art funded by the Medici. Cosimo was essentially rebranding Florence in his family's image. He was transforming the city into the cradle of the Renaissance, and everyone knew who was paying the bills. He wasn't a prince or a king. He was just Cosimo, a man of the people. But behind the scenes, he pulled the strings of the city's government, placing his allies in key positions and quietly exiling his enemies. He perfected the art of ruling from the shadows, earning him the title Pater Patria, father of the fatherland. After his death, then came the grandson, Lorenzo de' Medici, known to history as Lorenzo the Magnificent. If Cosimo was the quiet strategist, Lorenzo was the star of the show. He was a poet, a statesman, a diplomat, and a connoisseur of talent. He practically held court in his palace, discovering and nurturing young artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. Imagine being a teenager and having Lorenzo the Magnificent notice your talent, invite you to live in his home, and treat you like a son. That's what happened to Michelangelo. Lorenzo wasn't just a patron. He was a talent scout with an unmatched eye for genius. Under his watch, Florence exploded with creativity. Art, philosophy, and science flourished. He made Florence the cultural capital of the world. But being magnificent came with a price. Not everyone loved the Medici. The old noble families like the Pazzi seethed with jealousy. They saw the Medici as upstart bankers who had stolen their rightful place. This resentment boiled over on Easter Sunday, 1478, in the middle of High Mass at the Florence Cathedral. In a shocking act of violence, assassins hired by the Pazzi family and backed by rivals, including the Pope himself, attacked Lorenzo and his brother, Giuliano. The plot was brutal and sacrilegious. Daggers flashed in the sacred space. Giuliano was stabbed 19 times and died on the cathedral floor. Lorenzo, wounded but alive, fought back with his sword and managed to escape into the sacristy, saved by his friends who barricaded the heavy bronze doors. The Pazzi Conspiracy, as it became known, was meant to end Medici rule forever. But it backfired spectacularly. The people of Florence were horrified. They didn't see the attack as a liberation. They saw it as an assault on their leader and their city. They turned on the conspirators with a vengeance. Members of the Pazzi family and their allies were hunted down and brutally executed, their bodies displayed as a grim warning. Instead of destroying Lorenzo, the attack cemented his power. He emerged not just as a survivor, but as a hero, a symbol of Florence's resilience. He had faced down his enemies, and his grip on the city was now absolute. The Medici story didn't end with Lorenzo. The family's influence spread far beyond Florence. They used their wealth and connections to climb the ultimate ladder of power, the papacy. Giovanni de' Medici, Lorenzo's son, became Pope Leo X, he continued the family tradition of lavish art patronage, commissioning Raphael and beginning the construction of the new St. Peter's Basilica. But his extravagant spending and the controversial sale of indulgences to fund it helped spark a little thing called the Protestant Reformation with Martin Luther. Oops. Later, another Medici, Julio, became Pope Clement VII. His papacy was marked by chaos, including the devastating sack of Rome in 1527, a political catastrophe that saw him imprisoned. Two Medici women also left their mark on history as queens of France. Catherine de' Medici and Marie de' Medici became legendary political operators in the treacherous French court, navigating religious wars and royal intrigues. They proved that the Medici knack for survival and power-broking was unlimited to the men of the family. From bankers to popes to queens, the Medici DNA was coded with ambition. Their influence stretched across centuries and shaped the political and cultural landscape of Europe in ways we still feel today. So, what was the Medici's secret playbook? It was a three-pronged strategy, executed with genius and ruthlessness. First, control the money. The Medici Bank was the engine that powered everything. Second, control the culture. Through art patronage, they won the hearts and minds of the people and created a legacy of beauty that has lasted for centuries. They made their family synonymous with progress and genius. And third, when money and art weren't enough, they were prepared to be absolutely ruthless. They understood the dark art of politics, of alliances, exile, and, when necessary, responding to violence with overwhelming force. The Medici were not just patrons, they were puppeteers. They were not just bankers, they were kingmakers. They showed the world that power could be wielded, not just with armies and crowns, but with credit, creativity, and cunning. The next time you see a masterpiece from the Renaissance, remember the family who paid for it. They weren't just buying art, they were buying immortality. Thanks for joining me on this journey back to Renaissance Florence. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more stories from history, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let me know in the comments which historical dynasty we should uncover next. See you in the next video.